Welcome back to episode 24 of Main Street Success Stories. I'm your host, Jennifer Koch. Today, I have the pleasure of inviting Tanya Thompson from the Aroma Labs to the show. She is the founder of this business, and she's going to share with us her inspiring story of how her journey through grief inspired her to start this business that is now in 4 cities and growing rapidly. Today, she's going to share some real key insights into how she experienced this growth in such a short amount of time. We're going to dive into her curiosity that has led to her success, how she has defined her ideal client profile, which has led her to perfecting the best store locations for her retail establishment. She's going to also share with us what she's done to attract top talent, which is so key in today's world. And then my favorite part, the game changer for growth. She really shares how the customers have been the common denominator to help her propel her success as quick as she has. So I know you're going to get a lot of great insights and practical tips from this episode. I invite you to listen in. Welcome, Tanya. Welcome to the Main Street Success Stories podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Koch. I've been a business owner for about 25 years, and now I'm a business coach. I actually turned my first business into a franchise and successfully sold it after owning and operating it for 20 years. I prioritize building a business while also building a life and love working with the creative entrepreneur. I mostly work with emerging business owners who desire growth. They are in their first 5 years of the journey and want a plan that's going to help them succeed for years to come. They're tired of not getting paid enough, feel stuck, and want more for their business and family. If you are a business owner and you're feeling stressed about how to attract more customers, you have a really good sales month, but then you look at your bank account and wonder where the money went. You look at your financial statements, but if you're being honest, you're not really sure what to do with the information. And you just tell yourself, if I work harder, it'll fix all my issues, only to feel exhausted and never see things improve. You're here because you want to build your business, but you also want to build a life that you love. I invite you to learn more about one of my 3 coaching programs designed to help you earn more and stress less. You can choose which option works best for you. Imagine this. You have a clear plan and momentum, and you're gaining more clients every week. Your revenue climbs by 20% or more. You save 5 hours a week because you know exactly where to show up. You're experiencing double-digit growth in your profits. People refer customers to your business because they understand exactly who you help and what you do. If this is you and you desire more, reach out, let's have a conversation, and you can click in the show notes below. Hello, Tanya. Welcome. Hi. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I know you have quite a story that can inspire, especially our brick and mortar listeners. So I'm excited to get started. So Tanya, you are the founder of the Aroma Labs, and I would love for you to kind of take us back to what inspired your idea and passion to start the Aroma Labs.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. The Aroma Labs was a concept, before you even know it's a concept, right? I started it about 13 years ago, and it was actually creating things. It was a way to work through my grief. My husband had passed away. I was 30 years old, and my daughters were 3 and 6 at the time. So we would make things, candles and lotions and scrubs and bath bombs and bug sprays. And I love that the girls could do it with me, right? We enjoyed the time creating. And then because we had limited resources, we would give them away to the teachers and the bus drivers and our friends. And then the humans would be like, oh my God, I love that scrub that you made. So I would invite them over. And I love what happens between humans when they make something together. So they'd come to my home and we'd sit right in my kitchen and make the scrub or make the candles. And I love what happens when humans make something together. So then over the years, I educated myself, the associates, the bachelors, and the masters. So that's the training of the mind, right? To give you the business acumen or a little bit more to start your own business. I wrote this up as it was a class project, my MBA, one of my final MBA classes, and my daughters helped me with the logo and the business plan, and I just kept on going. So I started it in my basement 5 years ago with my favorite friends. That's how it usually starts, right? What are you doing? Oh, let me show you. So my favorite 6 friends came over in my basement, and I gave them the experience. And then from there, I did pop-up shops. So boutiques or salons or coffee shops or anybody that would host me. We would make the scents together. My daughters would help me. And we put on these little, these little pop-ups. And then from there, I really didn't like bringing my stuff around. And I really wanted to curate a space that was calm and that was consistent. So I opened a studio space downtown Kalamazoo at the Park Trade Center, a very small studio space. The floor had like a tripping hazard, and it was either Alaska or Tahiti in there. But I started selling ticketed events. And then I outgrew that space pretty quickly within 6 months. And then I acquired another space down the hall, which would give me a large area to have, 15 to 20 people at one time. And then COVID happened, right?
Oh, yes, the joys of COVID. So let's go back. So you were curating things that smelled. You were using sensory of the smell. So these were lotions, candles, scrubs. And how were you? You were just kind of in your basement using essential oils, or what were some of the ingredients? You were just kind of diving into a variety of great ingredients?
Yeah. Being that I love making products, right? I really was interested in the different products made. Like, what kinds of oils, what kinds of butters, what does it do to the hair, skin, or nails? What is the molecular structure? Why doesn't coconut oil absorb like I like it to? Why am I still greasy? Why does, so what does the jojoba do? What does the vitamin E do? So just educating myself and learning, basically by trial and error on these products that I was making and gifting to myself and others, how that worked. And the perfuming piece, the scent piece, was actually the last piece. I would add, a citrus scent, or I had humans, I like lavender. So I would access, some of the different oils that I had, and those were essential oils at the time. But then I looked in a bit more about essential oils, and they're not always ethically harvested, right? It takes a lot of plant material to extract. So there's over farming. So that's why I researched a company in Michigan for fragrance oils. These are lab tested, highly, they're lab tested by organic chemists, skin tested. They've gone through quite a bit of rigorous testing, and that recreation piece is there, right? So when you use essential oils, it's directly derivative from the plant, which also can cause harm, but they're a little volatile, meaning depends on what happened to the crop, right? So lavender in 2020 doesn't always smell like lavender in 2021. And if you're creating a unique scent for the individual, they want the same smell, right? They want the same formulation. And that's really hard to do with essential oils. And again, like I said, the ethical piece with over harvesting and over farming is why I choose to work with a company in Michigan for fragrance oils.
So you started this out of a grief project for a desire to pour yourself into something, right? A distraction with your children. Yeah. And then it sounds like you are just one of those notorious love to keep learning, because you are diving into the scientific side of all of these products. Plus you went and got all this business training and learning and your degrees. And so I love how your business just kind of evolved, but you were open and you were constantly taking that next step. Like you said, it started out with a handful of people in my home. Then I rented a little funny space, and you weren't worried about the space being perfect. You just wanted people to come in.
Yes. Yep. I love what happens between humans when they make something together, the connection they have. And I'm a founder that's really hands-on, and I'm curious. I'm curious in general, right, about all kinds of things. And then the human aspect, when I could ask them, well, what do you think, or what do you like, and get the feedback from them and be able to, change direction if I need to, or add or make it better, right, for the experience for the customer. So I stay pretty close to the customer in general, and to try to, navigate what they actually want.
I love that you use the word curious, because I always say that's a trait of entrepreneurs that helps us grow, is we're asking questions, we're diving in, we're doing research. Okay. So you finally get to like a real retail space, and people can come in and they get to create their own scent. That's kind of what is the magic behind the Aroma Labs. Is it's not you created these for me and I walk in and I choose A, B, or C.
No.
I get to be a part of the experience for myself personally, correct? Is that kind of how it flows?
Yeah, that's how it flows. Back to COVID, when noses and gathering weren't welcome, my pivot was I started doing this for businesses. So just like the JW Marriott, Disney, they have their own signature scent. Your businesses can as well. So that money, working with real estate agents and mortgage brokers for client gifts, boutiques, salons, now either they give it away as a gift or they can sell it in their space. That gave me enough money to come down to open my first retail with no retail experience, downtown Kalamazoo. I intentionally choose downtown locations because people love to come downtown for music, for food, with art, and we fit right in there. And I was also a young girl who loved going downtown with my grandma. So also being a part of that downtown community has been, again, another important piece for me as well. So yes, the experience is where the customer comes in and you sit down in front of 40 or 50 of our different notes. You pick the notes that you like a lot. And then we show you how to put those notes into a recipe quick, no math, no measuring, no testing. Because people are really intimidated when it comes to those pieces. And then from there, once you make a recipe that you love, you can put it in a variety of different mediums. And when I refer to a medium, is that a perfume? Is it a cologne? Is it a soap? Is it a scrub? Is it a lotion? Is it something for your car, something for your bath, something for your room? We have all variety of different products. And then, yeah.
What a cool concept. And I really love how you said you wanted to be surrounded by the arts. Like this to you wasn't a typical product-based retail business. This was an experience that you were creating. You wanted it downtown because people come downtown for those experiences. Go out to dinner, grab a group of friends and then go to the Aroma Labs. Okay, so you've weathered COVID by being super creative right out of the gates. I mean, good golly, girl. A lot of people would have just been like, okay, I can't keep going. Are you kidding me? Like I just opened and then COVID's shutting me down. But you found a way to keep selling through reaching out to corporate gifting. Kind of what I love to teach people to do is that reoccurring revenue. Where can we go and get that reoccurring revenue? So for you, you kind of call this private label. Is that correct?
Yep. Private label.
So you're creating candles, soaps, lotions, whatever it may be for a certain business, and they can put their logo on the product. Or
we do it all for them. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So brilliant. So that got you through COVID. And then what came next? You opened up a second location. Yeah.
The second location, I've called it the Aroma Labs, multiple for a reason. So I wanted to take myself out of Kalamazoo, a place where I was known in the community, because that's where I was born and raised, and replicate it in a larger environment that people may not be familiar with me. Now, is it me or is it a business model, right? You have to figure that out too. Is it me or is it the business model? So I went pretty quickly up to Grand Rapids, which is the second largest city in the United States, second largest city in Michigan. And then it also is 3 times the size of Kalamazoo. So I opened up the Grand Rapids store downtown. It was a little slower going, right? I don't think I really knew who our true target audience was and where our, pot of gold, if you will, with regards to humans, that really enjoy this experience. So
how did you navigate that? Because that can be awfully scary. Because like you said, I love how you said, was it me or was it the business model that we're going to attract people? And obviously in Kalamazoo, it was you partly.
It was me.
Because people knew you, and we all know that relationship building is key. So then how did you navigate this market where people didn't know Tanya and they just saw this business called the Aroma Labs and probably had to educate them a lot. They probably didn't understand what it was.
It was a lot. I would say Grand Rapids was the hardest market for me with regards to getting it off the ground. The navigation piece was I was the one, right? So I would drive up from Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids every day. I put, 14 to 16 hours of driving per week And then, the store was open 38 hours. So I was the payroll. I was the payroll, which is really hard it's really hard to work on your business when you're working in your business. Right. And, just the amount of driving that I was doing. And yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
What kept you going? What was, can you feel like there was something that was pointing you or kept you going through that time?
It was the customers, right? When, I'd have a rough day or even a rough week where, customers have come in for days or, a day or 2 days. And then I'd have a group and they'd have such a great time and they'd leave a fabulous Google review, or they'd come back a couple weeks later with somebody else that they really liked and wanted to share the experience with. So the customer kept me going. It really did. Customer kept me going. That. Yep. It sure did. And then I really paid attention as I asked, because I wanted to know what marketing that we were doing that was working well. Was it the radio advertisement? Was it the TV that I did? Was it, the influencers? Was it social media? Was it word of mouth? Like, where are they coming from? And I wanted to know where they were coming from too. So I started having a lot of customers, or paying attention that I had a lot of customers from Detroit. So where they would find me on the socials and they'd come over from Detroit. So I always knew within a quick period of time with opening up Grand Rapids that I wanted to go to Detroit. And basically it's because I was having customers that were coming. I like, you drove all the way over here.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I was picking around Detroit for a while.
What you just said was so impactful, because that's so key, is to ask our customers. And I really think a lot of us as business owners, we're always thinking, what's next, what's next, what's next? And we don't take the time to look back, ask the customers, get some data. For you, that was just kind of ingrained in you from day one. And I really think that's a key to your success, is that you were always listening. And it is so hard with marketing. There's so many options now. And I hear that all the time. Well, how do I know what's working? How do I know what to spend my money on? How do I know where to market? And it's hard to really narrow in on what marketing platform or piece that you did, what the return on that investment is, because they're all kind of intertwined. And it can be really hard to pinpoint that. But for you, you just went back to the customers. So you got
How'd you hear about us?
Yeah. So you got Grand Rapids going and found yourself not having to be there 38 hours a week.
Yeah.
So take us through when you open multiple locations, like you said, you are a very hands-on founder. How do you start to find people that can manage these locations for you, train them properly, get them to really, dive into your culture and the experience that you're trying to provide for your customers? Was that challenging for you to find those people to come along inside your business?
It was when I was in Grand Rapids. It was like 2 years before I opened another store. It definitely was. Grand Rapids had been open for 2 years. It was 2 years before I opened another store. I needed to grow as a leader too, right? I needed to get some standard operating procedures in place. I needed to hone in specifically on what makes something successful in this environment. I needed to, dial in an interviewing process, and so there's that. And my best way of finding teammates, especially like for Detroit and Chicago, they were either all of them were either referred to me, or they came and asked me, or they were a customer at one point.
So referred, asked, or a customer. So that right there tells you they have an interest in your business.
Yeah, an initiative. Yeah.
This isn't just a job.
Nope. I've hired out of desperation before.
Right. We all have, right?
Yeah, I've hired out of desperation before, and I did not pay attention. I did not ask the right questions. I did not get to know them well enough to see if they had an actual passion, an interest in the subject matter, an initiative. Because when you're a small business and you're just starting out bootstrapping, you have to make sure that, the humans on board are, you could lead them and that they have a passion for that as well. An initiative, right? Because we're all doing different things constantly. So that's how I've now curated a phenomenal group of humans. Like I said, 3.5 years ago, I only employed one person. Now I employ 18, and they're all so remarkable and unique, and they bring so much diversity and just color, color and sparkle to the business.
And you know what? Kudos to you for, you obviously were probably very excited seeing these customers come in from Detroit and, oh, I want to open in Detroit. I want to open my next location. That's so normal, right? But you really kind of slowed your roll and recognized that you needed to skill up in leadership. And kudos to you. That's really profound, because a lot of us, I think we just keep pushing forward. We react. And you really said, you know what? I need a process here. I need standard operating procedures. I need to be better in order for me to grow. So that's really a very wise decision that you made.
Thanks. I always tell, aspiring entrepreneurs that your business is only going to grow as far as you're able to grow. So, make sure you set time for yourself to grow.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we get Grand Rapids going, and then next was Detroit?
Actually, next was a mobile truck. I have this 18-foot glass mobile truck that I found out in Texas, because I wanted to go to the bachelorette, to the bridal, to the corporate retreat, to the, South Haven. So I brought home a mobile truck at the beginning of this year. I started planning for that at the end of last year. So it's a mobile experience. And then the minute I brought that truck home and spent all that money, and Detroit is called, and they're like, because I've been poking around, like, where should we go? And this phenomenal opportunity came open, downtown Detroit. And we needed to move on it quick because the NFL draft was coming. So the location that I have is right downtown Detroit in Parker's Alley. That Parker's Alley runs parallel with Woodward. Woodward is the main road downtown Detroit. We are part of Shinola. So we're part of the Shinola Hotel. And I needed to get it open before the draft. So from the day I got the keys, full demo, 28 days.
Oh my goodness. Wow, girl. Yeah. Do you sleep?
Yes. I also hire really good contractors too, and that's setting up the expectations in the very beginning. Like, this is my project. Are you able to do that? And if you're not, that is fine, but I need to know, right? So
your business model is taking your brand into cities that do not know you. You do not live in these cities, but you're taking them into the heart of their downtown environment, because that's, obviously your brand and your business model. What are you finding challenging about that?
Parking, gosh.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That is a real thing. I've had a few clients have issues with that. Yeah.
Parking, that's a lot of complaints, is parking. So we've detailed specific parking on our frequently asked questions tab, for each of our locations. So we actually have a program where they can park at the Z-Deck downtown Detroit, and we have where they can get reimbursed, or a validation process.
Okay. So is it tough to build the brand to get people in, or you've kind of got that dialed in now? Your marketing, you understand your ideal client now. You really know how to reach those people. Yeah, right.
Do we ever? I mean, again, I'm always trying to pay attention. I'm like, okay, wow, I didn't see that. Right. Like right now, there's a huge craze for young men that love fragrance, like young, like 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah.
They gotta get a ride down there.
They buy expensive collections of cologne.
Interesting.
And I call them the heavy hand. They're heavy handed, so they do a lot of sprays.
Yeah.
Another piece is, the culture of our world wanting to have more reusable products. So then we came up with a reusable, all of our containers can be refilled, right? we made everything digital, so the customer has access to their own account and then can easily reorder. Someone's like, "Oh my gosh, you smell good." Well, they log into our website, thearomalabs.com, and use their login and password, and they know what they created as their last experience. There's just been so many changes, and it's just by staying close to the customer. But yeah, I think we've dialed in. The influencers have worked out really well for us. That's something new that I did not utilize in Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids, but I did in Detroit, and it accelerated. I am doing that as well in Chicago, and that's accelerated the growth as well.
So you're probably finding each one of these markets, like you said, you have to kind of adapt because each market's a little different. It's not a one size fits all. At one point, you and I had a conversation about you choosing to franchise this business. Is that still on the right? These are individual. These are still owned by you, correct?
They're all mine. Yep.
Okay.
They're all mine. I had a vision of franchising. I have taken my business model, the Aroma Labs, and put it through franchise, meaning I have the FDD and all of the proper trademarking and legal documentation. If I were to find a franchise partner, we'll see. I think it also, now that I'm Chicago, gives me a bit more validity, right? Like, oh my gosh, yeah, she's done this in a small market, a mid market, a large market, and the third largest city in the United States, and made it successful. So I think I needed to have a bit more validity.
Mm-hmm.
I think finding a franchisee is difficult. And it's got to be the right fit, right? Again, initiative, interest, and a curiosity, and a burn that there's no plan B.
Right. So there's definitely differences when you start to franchise your business. Your focus changes. You have to now be the person who helps train and support and have those practices and best procedures in place is how you're going to support these franchisees. So I love how you kind of pulled back on that. Once again, you're like, I know you're very visionary. You've got all these ideas. You go for them, but you do it in a really smart, methodical way. You kind of pull back and realize, all right, wait a minute. Let's get a little more validity. Let's get a little more data. Let's, get a little bit more in place before we continue to just steamroll.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got 4 locations.
And a mobile truck.
And a mobile truck, all up and running.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
More locations.
Okay, so you still have this hunt and this
I do
drive to keep doing that?
Yeah. I think we've honed in on a bit better of, we want a downtown that's vibrant. We want a downtown with a lot of diversity. We want a downtown that has people growing, people growing, like, meaning they're, the population is growing, like people are moving into that downtown. So those are the things that we're looking for when we're looking at other cities to grow into.
So most of your focus so far has been bringing people either to your mobile truck or in your retail location. Was there ever any pressure, or do you have an online service where if I didn't want to come in and curate my own scent, I could just order? Has that ever been on the radar to add as a service, or do you feel that is needed in today's world?
I still think we are experience retail, and I think that scent is so subjective, and it's really difficult to even describe a scent. Like, what I think is powdery or citrusy may not be what you think. And I know myself personally, I have bought fragrances online and I've not been happy because the description wasn't what I would describe. So it's very subjective to the user. We do have kits, if you will. So they are our most loved fragrances around a theme, and those do okay. But I think people are still wanting that connection, or needing that connection. We have lost a lot of connection, and it's an opportunity for you to sit down with somebody and, somebody special, whether it's a birthday party or team building event or corporate retreat, and have a genuine connection. So And then our online piece is reorders, right? Customers that have visited our locations that want to reorder. That's how we get our online sales. So they've already had an experience with us and they're reordering their specific blend.
Okay. So, there's a lot of research around our sensory and of smell and how it can, if you don't have smell, it can lead to depression. I know there's even like sensory therapy that helps people through like PTSD and things. And your business really kind of took off post-COVID. And there were quite a few of us, me included, where I never got my smell back 100% from COVID. Do you feel like that maybe played a part in your growth because you were able to educate people on the power of, smell?
Maybe I didn't notice that I was doing that. I didn't pay attention on that, but yeah, it definitely, our sense of smell is, first of all, we don't know enough about it, right? It's the first one to develop in womb, right? It's connected to our prefrontal cortex, memory, mood, emotion. It's actually the first thing to go if you have any like pre-Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or substance. So, I don't think I knew that. I just think I was, really enjoying the experience and the customers and the connection that they were having with, like I said, either their birthday party or we sent for, weddings, like customers come in that are about to, have their nuptials and they create a signature scent for their special day. We've done date nights and anniversaries and corporate retreats and the Brown Sugar Book Club and Latina Connect. And I didn't know we would get to be a part of so many special moments for humans. We've had a proposal. We've been invited to weddings. We've had, prior guests or, customers that they've passed. So maybe their family member wanted to keep their signature scent that they created while they were with us. So just so many moments, so many special moments. Just recently we had a booking for a small party of humans that they were celebrating one of the members' last day of chemotherapy. So yeah, so many special moments.
Tanya, what a cool business that you have built and are growing fast. I mean, it's only really been 5 years since you really became,
that's
official business.
I call it basement hobby. The retail, I would say, when you start paying employees, and so yeah, the retail has just been 3.5 years. Yeah,
and I think the key takeaway from our conversation today is how much you have poured into your customers, asked the questions, listened to your customers, and are willing to adapt and make changes for your business. I really feel like that has been such a huge movement for you and helping you with your growth. And I hope people listening with their businesses can really kind of take a pause and think about how they can incorporate that strategy into their business a little bit more. So Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
I've always enjoyed watching it, and I'm just amazed at your energy and your passion and your growth. And I wish you continued success and can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you so much.
Isn't Brittany just a delight? When her and I started working together, it was so apparent that she had drive, had a lot of belief in herself, but even bigger than that was the belief in her community. She really wanted to make an impact and make a difference. And that's not uncommon. A lot of us business owners, that is why we chose to get into business. But what we found is sometimes it's hard to make decisions when you're inside the box. I love the analogy that it's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar. And so when she reached out to me over 6 months ago to work together for me to help her become profitable, I was able to bring in that objective view, help her with strategies, and just really guide her to make some decisions. And she was so willing to try new things, and it's paying off. I mean, what a huge change in her net profit. And now the sky's the limit. And I love how she said that when you become profitable, it does more than just help your financial picture. It helps you, gives you validation, gives you confidence to move forward. So now she's set even bigger goals for herself, and I cannot wait to watch her get there. So thank you so much for listening. I've been a business owner for about 25 years, and now I'm a business coach. I actually turned my first business into a franchise and successfully sold it a few years later, which was great, not only for the profit, but also gave me the flexibility to raise my family too. So that's what's really inspired me to help other creative women like Brittany. I mostly work with six-figure business owners who are tired of not getting paid enough for their hard work. I walk them through a 3-step process that I've developed that helps them be able to create more, but earn more and stress less. If this is you or someone you know and you would like to talk about your business, reach out. I schedule a complimentary discovery call where we just get to know each other, and I can share with you if I would be the right fit to help you take your business to the next level. In the meantime, thanks for listening. Please share this episode with a business owner you know who could be inspired, and have a great day.